All right. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You doing all right?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, a couple of housekeeping items to get started. Well, Mike's linking us to our new Instagram live feed, so we'll catch all the cool stuff going on Instagram. I was just telling Mike I haven't been on Instagram in a number of years, so cool to spread the word a little bit, because obviously still an active platform that never died off, and realizing that it's not always just LinkedIn. Social media, the internet itself is a powerful tool, and you just never know where you're going to stumble into good ideas or new people that you want to reach out and touch. So it doesn't hurt to be dabbling in different platforms. They're all kind of forums. Mike, did you freeze? I think I lost Mike. There we go. And so while Mike's logging back in, give you a little bit of an idea of, again, what this show is about. The idea here we go. The idea here with the Military Retirement Blueprint podcast is, Mike and I get together every week or so to talk about the topics that we see every single day with our members or clients who are having their first day, experiencing retirement out of the military or dealing with various issues in post-military life. And we both have our own individual experiences getting out of the military and entering the civilian world. I did not retire out of the military. I got out in 2008 and went self-employed. But I've been working in the military retirement space, kind of, from the outside looking in, having these conversations. I've had thousands of them at this time. Everybody's experience is unique. We always think it's going to be the same. We typically just want to ask our buddies, "Hey, what'd you do? How'd you deal with this situation?" It's like, well,
Everybody wants to compare themselves to everybody else, right?
right. But that's kind of the whole point of retiring out of the military is to not be in uniform anymore. You now get to make your own choices and stuff. And so the idea here with this show is one, to introduce you to Mike and I and what we do, but also let you know that Mike's got this huge network with Blue Water Advisors, over 500 members that have gone through, and the name of the game is always networking. So yes, you got to talk to people and get their experiences, but ultimately make your own choices. So we want to be a conduit for that information and that network to help you make those decisions. So we talk on a number of topics about finding your next career, how to network, some best practices that we've seen work there, and obviously constantly changing. And we're not saying one way is the only way. And then also when it gets into the financial decisions, obviously when you're getting out of the military, you're going to be getting potentially a lot higher income. What does that mean? What kind of opportunities that bring? And probably haven't had a chance to think about your sense of purpose. A lot of times I hear, Scott, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And this is a 50-year-old retiring Army colonel or something, and then that's fair. That's understandable, and I've heard that so many times. And so we want to be a resource to help people answer those questions. So you can always reach out to Mike or I. Happy to do a call consultation. I obviously talk to people at US Vet Wealth about their insurance related decisions specifically, but I also have really enjoy talking about all aspects of military retirement, kind of who I know, what I've seen work, and so on and so forth. So,
and I think, Scott, one of the great things about kind of where we're at right now is having such a large throughput, and where we maintain those relationships. I mean, when people come through the doors here at Blue Water, we maintain those relationships. So aspiring members or members who are just now joining the team, think of the repository of insight that you have available at your disposal, right? You've got that groomed, maintained network to plug into. Hey, what did you experience? Hey, what did you see? Why did you do these things? How did you navigate this space, right? That's a lot of insight, right? That's a lot of experience that we maintain and make available to our members, right? So
And then
that's
really
a
the kind of,
huge, yeah,
yeah, the next step of that is once you do kind of have some inklings of, yeah, I really need to learn more about this particular
yeah,
company or this type of a role. For if people just want to understand, well, what is it like to be self-employed, that's where I and a lot of other small business owners would be happy to have a conversation with you. But if you want to work at Lockheed or Boeing or one
right,
of the many other or Amazon,
yeah.
that's where building that network from the inside out versus just randomly trying to ping people on LinkedIn. Where Blue Water, I think, adds a lot of value that you're just not going to find going through your TAPS class or your ruling course, right? So, but
So, what do you want to do, Scott? You want to give quick updates to the audience
yeah,
about
yeah.
what we got going on in our lives, or do you want to jump into, the topic of the day, topic du jour,
No, let's do
right?
a quick update because
Yeah.
I know you had a cohort last week,
Hmm.
and we're going to Annapolis next month.
We are.
Um, so let's hit on that stuff.
Yeah. So, for the audience out there, right? We did just finish up our July cohort. Had another great group that we hosted at the Norfolk corporate office right there of Booz Allen, and just a great day, right? It was really a good group. And Steve Weeman and I were chatting. Like each of our cohorts, they all have their own little personality. Sometimes they're not very talkative. Sometimes they're really talkative, right? You just never know the group dynamic that you're going to plug into. This was a particularly great group, very entertaining, very energetic, a lot of questions, a lot of discussion. So it makes for a really enjoyable day. So I truly enjoyed them. All of our cohorts are good, but they just all have unique personalities.
Sure.
Hey, just this week, though, of note, right? We're getting ready to step into our virtual cohort. This is our first virtually hosted cohort, and we broke it up into 4 1-week sessions. Tomorrow, Steve and I will host our first online cohort discussion, right, of week 1. And so we're excited to try that, right? We have not done that in the past, but we've just been inundated with individuals that approach us that, just stress upon us, Mike, I want to go to an in-person cohort, but there's high demand, right? We're booked all the way through the end of the year. And then sometimes proximity. Hey, I'm in Hawaii, or I'm on the West Coast, or, I'm in Iwakuni, Japan, or Naples, Italy, or Stuttgart. Hey, I'm never going to be able to make an in-person cohort. What other offerings is Blue Water, prepared to make? And so we've ventured into this, right? We have historically not done these, but we thought, hey, we think we can keep the quality high and the message delivery high. So we're going to try this, right? And we're going to jump into it this month. So we're excited to kind of do that. So we'll knock that out starting tomorrow, right? It's our first online session. So,
Well, cool. Well, I'm glad
yeah,
you're exploring that. Anyways, allow more people to take advantage of it for sure.
exactly. Right. We just want to not disadvantage, and it's no fault of their own. They're just proximity wise, they just can't make
Right.
it. So we're excited to do that. Tailhook for us is a trip that's coming up towards the end of the month. And then as soon as we're back from that, a very quick turn, you and I will be headed up.
Oh, lost Mike again. But anyways, Mike was about to say we're heading up to Annapolis to the Naval Academy Alumni Center at the Flugel Center. We'll be there on the 10th and 11th of
Another
September.
group up there, right? So
Mike, we lost you for a minute there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe as we're trying to live stream this over to Instagram, I just kind of stopped that portion, right? And so maybe our bandwidth will be better served just for
Interesting.
our business here. Yeah. So I don't know.
Maybe
We'll keep playing around with it.
we'll
See if we
blame
can
it.
get.
Blame Instagram. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
Annapolis is going to be good. It'll be a good setting for us all, right? As we head up there. And again, that's our second year, right? So we'll just build upon it. And we've already started to make a few changes, right, Scott? I mean, I think opening up your resources both days that were up there instead of just second day. And did you see the Google Doc sheet? It's already started to fill up, right? People
yeah,
are
very
ready.
cool.
Yeah, so that's helpful, right? We can kind of get a schedule out ahead of time. So excited for that.
Yeah, we'll be up there the 10th and 11th of September.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the cohort on the 10th, so I know that filled up very quickly. You probably have a waiting list, but I'll be available that day while you're doing the cohort for anybody who wasn't able to make the cohort and wants to meet, talk about survivor benefit plan, VGLI, VA disability type, have questions there. So if you're in the Annapolis area or know someone who could benefit from that, let us know,
Yeah,
and we can set up an appointment there.
yeah.
But other than that, then the next week I'll be down in Nashville at the Service Academy Entrepreneurship Summit,
Yeah.
and that's being hosted by West Point AOG, but anybody can go. And again, unique networking opportunity, a lot of business owners. And I think a lot of people that are transitioning out of the military don't realize, even if they're thinking, oh, I'm not an entrepreneur, so that's not that, I wouldn't be a good fit for that conference. It's like, no, that's because nobody else will go to those. That might be a good opportunity for you to just network a little bit outside the box. A lot of companies there. Then maybe they're smaller, maybe you haven't heard of them, but they might be hiring or looking for
Yeah.
partners and stuff like that. So I think that's real cool. And yeah, so the idea today was to talk a little bit about what is the opportunity or maybe some of the cautions around getting out of the military and the impact of health and wellness and mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously we're dealing with a stressful time, and just like anything else in the military, when you're on active duty, all that stuff is kind of check the box, right? As long as you're deployable,
Yeah.
then you're good to go. And again, like we mentioned a minute ago, this is your opportunity to take control of it. And the caution, share a little bit my personal story is when I got out and went into the entrepreneurship, realm, I went all in and I kind of just made that my priority. And, slowly over a number of years, I just completely disregarded, my health and, got severely overweight, very sick, was not, eating well at all. And, started to realize it was just having an impact on, my lifestyle, my ability to focus, and then you see that a lot in the veteran community. The assumption is that as long as I'm going to the VA, I'm good to go. As long as I'm making my doctor appointments and they're basically checking off, and
Mm-hmm.
we kind of have to realize that those people are just doing their job. As long as they can pass you through, um, I'm sure they care about you a lot, but they also have to then care about the next person and the next person that's coming in every 15 minutes. So this really becomes, and we're getting older in life,
Yeah.
and so
It is true. It
it's
is
just
true.
it's just a reality. And so because I was in the life insurance space, I just realized, a lot of times people are thinking, life insurance is all about death. And ironically, it's not about that, because the insurance companies wouldn't insure you if they thought you were going to die anytime soon, right? They want healthy, vibrant people that are going to live a long time and make good money and stay invested with them for a long time. That's where you get the best deals. And so, thinking, hey, leading from the front type of attitude, in the last few years, I realized, I got to make some personal changes in my own life, and lost 100 pounds. Went through all that, got back into CrossFit, and did a bunch of tricks and strategies that I think can be useful to others, and we can get into that if we think that's interesting or not. But what I have noticed is, a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, I kind of need a reset. I've kind of let things slide after the military. And, what I noticed in my day-to-day job is the bottom line is, specifically when it comes to, healthcare, insurances, long-term care type stuff that we're maybe not thinking about right now. I see it because that's my job, that the costs are adding up. Our country as a whole, just look around, it's not doing too well. And, those coming out of the military are still much healthier than the average American. Right.
Yeah, the average American.
And so the opportunity to still, qualify for good rates, live well into your 80s and 90s, in a healthy manner are there, but the vibe in our country is not that way. It's you're gonna be sick, everybody's gonna have all these diseases, and it's just gonna be a slow decline. And I just don't think it needs to be that way.
And it doesn't have to be. No, you're right.
And even then, it just gets so costly. I'm dealing with this with my mother right now, it's just quickly adding up, and of course want our parents to stay around as long as possible, but that's what the system is designed to do, is to keep you around as long as possible so they can suck more and more dollars out of you, and either feed more meds or increase services and that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, there aren't many other options around that. But for yourself, the big question is, if you're saving for retirement, do you really want the vast majority of all the wealth you've built and net worth you've saved
to go into your healthcare?
To just go into your healthcare, or be a burden on your children is another concern I hear a lot. So,
and Scott, let me just inject one thing here, because the demographic primarily that steps into Blue Water, right? Those very senior leaders, and I'm a little bit, I don't want to say surprised, but many of our members step into this and they go, yeah, Mike, look, I'm TRICARE for life, and I get all this for life and everything. So, why is this important to me? And what they don't realize is, senior leaders, okay, that's great. But when you get to 65, which is not that far of a stretch for most of our senior leaders who are stepping into their career progression for their next success, right? They're going to work that 8 to 12 year window, and then they're going to be looking at 62, 63, 64. When you get to 65 and your supplemental healthcare, right? Yeah, TRICARE for Life doesn't cover it all, right? You go on Medicare, I think, or Medicaid Part B, right, for your supplemental. And based on your health, how healthy you are at the time determines your premium. So we've recently talked to some senior leaders, Scott, that are paying $500 a month just for that supplemental based on what they're bringing to the table, as opposed to your point, live healthy, be healthy. Hey, now your supplemental cost based on the ailments and everything that you're bringing to the table, okay, that's $200, right? It's something much less. So I heard a member, and you can debate this. They go, hey, wait a minute, Mike. I thought TRICARE for life, I had medical for life. And I'm like, well, you kind of do, but when you get to 65, the rules of the road change, right? And for your supplemental coverage and everything. So it's a great point. The other thing that I really encourage our members to pay attention to is the mental health aspect of this, right? Career progression is daunting. Stepping in, leaving your identity, leaving your uniform, leaving who you thought you were, and now reinventing yourself. Having a process, a refined process that works to navigate to your next success is incredibly important, because what we do and what we see is members who just step into this next phase of their life very flippantly, don't have a plan, and go take a job. Okay, this isn't fulfilling. This isn't working for me. I step out. Take another job. Okay, wait a minute. This still isn't what I thought it was, right? They don't have a refined process to arrive at a good fit. That starts to have an impact on your mental health. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, am I ever going to find the right fit? Am I ever going to find fulfillment like I had when I was wearing the uniform? Am I ever going to find these things? And the mental health is equally as important, right, as the health, right? Your body health as you step into this. So yeah, I agree with you, and you've got a great insight to all of this. SBP, VGLI, TSP. Like, how do I approach this, right? And the benefits of it. So
Yeah, I mean, the mental health thing, that occurred for me, very specifically, and kind of led to my physical health decline,
sure.
because when I got out, I got recruited into the financial industry and was like, all right, I went to the PX, bought a suit, or bought a couple of suits.
Yeah.
And I would just show up at the office and be like, all right, I got my licenses. This is my new identity. I thought I was, now I'm in a new uniform, and this is who I am now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just many years before I started to have issues with how the industry's run, and just in general. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But, I realized, like, a lot of the people I was running into who were, just taking the first job, were not necessarily happy, or saving all this money and never really having any plan to use the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I'm out here exploring and all these different, lifestyle. I was traveling a lot at the time, and so and the whole world of, small business, started to open up with the internet, and there's just all sorts of opportunities out there, and a lot of people weren't seeing it.
Right.
And I was just kind of confused. I was like, what's the point of giving financial advice if there's no plan to actually use it? It was all about, how's your portfolio invested? Do you have enough
Right.
insurance? Well,
Right.
that's the easy stuff. You can watch some YouTube videos and Google that. And so it really kind of messed with my head a lot, and then I felt stuck, like, and so
Mm-hmm.
that led to not good health, but it also caused me to start truly exploring, like, all right, well, who am I, and how do I want to be useful? What did I enjoy doing, even before the military? And so as I started incorporating, like, when I was in high school, I was on my speech and debate team. Like, sure, I played lacrosse and was state champion and all that kind of stuff, but really the thing I enjoyed the most was, getting up in front of people and,
And debating.
acting.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't debating. I was on the humorous. I did characters and stuff, and so that allowed me to really explore the podcasting world, and going
Sure.
on video and saying, "All right, no fear. I'm gonna put myself out there a little bit more." And
Well,
that
we do
obviously
it
is
every week, right? We come in
right.
and we discuss these topics that
Yeah,
we have fun with it. There's no doubt about it. And but there is always, we connect with somebody in the audience. They're like, man, that was such an important topic to me, right? There are gems to tease out on this one, and this is an important one, right? Your mental health, your physical health and well-being, how to navigate that. And there's a real impact. And you talk to it better than I can, right? Be healthy. There's affordable health care options for you out there. Be unhealthy, you're going to pay for it, right?
yeah.
And we're seeing that, and our members are experiencing that, right? We
And
see that.
and a lot of it comes down to control. The how much control do you want? Obviously, over your day-to-day health, what you're eating and what you're working out. But then when you talk about the healthcare and which doctor you're going to, do you just want to be in a giant system? Like, you're out of the military, you can only go to the military, or when you're in the military, you can only go to the military doctor. Sure, but do you really want to just be limited to the VA or TRICARE or whatever's in some sort of plan, even through work? We've just found that if you really want to control, who you're getting, help from, sometimes you got to pay for that out of pocket and
Well,
privatize.
and Scott, I'm sure you can relate to this, and for the audience right out there, the approach for many of the Blue Water members changes. And let me
Mhm.
just paint a scenario for you, and I know you can relate to this. As an aviator, having spent my life in naval aviation, medical and doctors and flight surgeons and all these things were a huge part of my life and existence,
Right.
right? They had to give you what was called an upchit. They had to look at you. And at least once a year, you're getting poked and prodded and everything else. Are you in good health to continue to fly? Right. Um, and I'll present it this way and you'll know what I'm saying. Like I don't want to say, we lived in fear of the medical
Sure.
system, but I'll be honest with you, we did not seek it out, right? Like we were very private. You didn't want to go to the
Right.
doctor for something just for fear he's going to go, yeah, dude, that you're down and you can't fly anymore. That's your livelihood. And
Right.
so a lot of us in uniform, we didn't openly disclose this. And the closer you get to your career progression and stepping in on terminal leave and seeking this next success, the rules change. Of course, now you want to disclose as much as what you can. Ideally, you would want to be as perfect and as healthy as what you can be. And I think that's your point, right? Be healthy and take care of yourself. But now you find yourself in an environment where, wow, I can go and pursue some medical help. And I don't have to be so guarded on information. So for members that are in, right, just I think the takeaway is be healthy, live healthy, right? And don't let small things get into big things, that you could taken care of early on. And I think that's your life, things things that you can control, right? Your stress level, what you're engaged with, your
Yeah.
exercise level, your health level, all these kind of things. Because in time, it does have an impact. And it may be monetary, it may be on your health, it may be type of healthcare coverage you're looking for and what you need, right? So it can make a difference. But anyway.
Yeah, because when we think about whether you're going through flight checks or just
Yeah.
standard doctor visits or your VA disability process, the now I guess separate from the pilots in general, you're trying to get more stuff put on your record. If you got a bum knee, of course, document all of that.
Hmm.
But the things, high blood pressure, what is that really?
Yeah.
Do we just say, okay, I guess I got high blood pressure? I mean, we got to really think about how are they determining that? You get your blood check, in that moment, in that time. Are they doing it multiple times that day? Multiple times in a week, or is it averaged? Are you comparing
Right.
your blood pressure to the general population? Or did you realize that what used to be considered high blood pressure, they just changed the number a few decades ago? Why? So they could maybe encourage more medications and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you got high blood pressure, you're on a medication. Um, what are the side effects of all this kind of stuff? So I take that into account because over the long
Hmm.
term, the real way to deal with high blood pressure is to really eat better, walk a little more,
Yeah.
and
Reduce the stress in your life. Yeah.
right. And the
Mhm.
more stuff you can get off of the more medications you can reduce, then the better the insurance companies and the healthcare companies look at you and the
Right.
cheaper everything becomes. And of course, a lot of people tell me, hey, I got off a medication, they're kind of excited about it. And, so I think that's the opportunity because again, our general health in this country is not geared towards there isn't this everybody should be eating healthier anymore. That
Right.
used to be we just have way too much fast food, and even our grocery store food,
Oh yeah.
we don't know what's in it. So
Yeah.
I just seen a lot of issues with people not being able to get qualified for insurance or having to pay extra rates because they're going through VA disability and trying to get more things put on their records. Hey, if you need it, of course, like, go to the doctor, get it checked out. But
So that's an interesting point that you
right,
bring out. I have seen individuals where they will chase getting a lot of things put out there in hopes to drive up benefits, and it's a sensitive topic. And
yeah,
to your point, if you have these ailments, certainly document it. If you need it, yes, get it on there. If this is a marginal kind of thing, you may want to think about whether or not you want to get it on. To your point, Scott, right? Because your cost of, in the short term, insurance, right? Or in the long term, your Part B medical care coverage, right? Those are going to drive costs up, right? Because of how you're viewed, right?
yeah.
By the industry, right? At that point. So, yeah, that's a good discussion, right? Sensitive topic, I'm sure, out there for many, but worth just kicking around and having the discussion, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, we are in the military. I think we can, talk about, sensitive topics.
Yeah.
Of course, it gets personal, and we're not trying to, dog, anybody's lifestyle or
No.
whatever, but just realize, maybe I had enough, at my current age, what I told myself a few years ago is like, you know what, I've had enough beer and alcohol. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's been 3.5 years, and I just have
You don't miss it. You
I
don't
just
miss it.
don't miss it. And
Dude, I
for
got to
me,
brag on you for a second. You've gone through an incredible transformation. I've known you since we've started Blue Water back
you
in
knew me you're one of the few people who saw me when I was at my
and
biggest.
and Scott, you've gone through an amazing transformation, and so you've taken your own advice and put it into action, and I applaud you for that. That takes a lot of determination, a lot of willpower, right? To do that and get dedicated. You saw there needed to be a change, you embraced it, and you did it. And man, I just watched the transformation in front of my eyes, with you. And I look at you now and you're the epitome of health, man. I mean, you are a healthy, young guy, and you navigated yourself. You were that, you departed from that, you recognized it, and then you brought yourself back into this. And it's just been amazing watching you, and motivating, I'll be honest with you, to see that transformation in you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but to be honest with you, it was like, I don't have this goal to try to be the healthiest guy out there. I just realized how bad I was getting, and I had to
Yeah.
be, honest with myself, because I was still my late 30s, early 40s, and felt, actually, I think I did an age test. I can't remember
Oh my
how I
God.
did it,
Yeah.
and I had a metabolism of a 60 year old or something, and I
Oh
was
my
just
goodness.
like,
Yeah.
that's, these aren't good signs.
Yeah.
But one of the things that comes up, and I had it myself, sleep apnea, and it's
Right.
and sure, if you've got sleep apnea, use the CPAP and get diagnosed. But that never used to be a thing until
Yeah.
they started putting everybody through the sleep test. They just
Yeah.
make everybody do it, and there's a chance, you snore a little bit or whatever, and so things like that, show up, more often on medical records, and might get you a little bit more VA disability benefit,
Yeah.
but then it's going to increase insurance costs by 20-30%.
Sure.
And over the long term, do they offset each other? And then let alone, could you do some lifestyle changes?
Hmm.
Because the reason sleep apnea is a bad thing, or insurance companies are concerned about it, is because you can,
You can
literally in the
die.
middle of the sleep,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
You're just
so,
not breathing. Right.
you just want to, could that be a motivating factor to say, hey, I want to actually take control of this
Right.
rather than having more band-aids, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a, we see often, but there's so many, just opportunities, just from having gone through it myself, I had a number of conditions just completely go away just by, losing weight and getting back in the gym. And I haven't been to a doctor in years, but I've got my own personal trust issues. But, I'll let everybody
I'll
make
let
their
you
own.
wrestle with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so we just wanted to broach on this topic a little bit, just to remind people, like, again, the opportunity coming out of the military isn't just to get a new job and a new career. It's to really take control of your full lifestyle,
Yeah.
and want to encourage you to do that as much as possible. Don't let work be your new life only, and now you have even more stressors detracting from the whole point is to be done, right? To eventually fully retire and go enjoy life at the beach, or by the lake house, or however it is you want to spend that life, but you don't want to spend it burnout.
Well, I love, once again, right? You and I have kind of, tangentially come together, right? And our pursuits are supportive, right? I mean, here you are on the insurance side, the investment side, these kind of things. And and our part in that is how can we reduce, right, the stress and anxiety associated with a career progression, right? I mean, I think there are big stressors in life, right? Finances, buying a home, certainly a major career change is stress inducing, and therein lies the physical health impact, the mental health impact of that. But we can help reduce that because, hey, come on in. The water's just fine, right? We have a process, we have a proven process, we have a network for you to plug into. That's that side of it, right? I can help reduce that. I can help navigate with you through your career progression to your next success. It will be okay. We have the data and analytics to show you that it's going to be good, and we've got this. And then on your side, right, you're well founded, well educated, right, in the insurance side of this, right, the SBP, TSP, VGLI, all these kind of things that go along with maintaining that coverage, right, in this new phase of life, right? So I just think the discussion, and I just think what we bring to our members, Scott, is just very supportive, right? We reinforce each other's efforts, and together it's just great benefit for our members, right, to go through. So I love it.
Yeah, no, glad we can do that. I wanted to leave with a few practical
Yeah.
tips today. Some quick things that people
Hey,
can
the
look
big
into.
practical one that I would throw out is if anybody wants to join Scott and I for a lunch meeting, we always eat meat. So meat is good, right? So we know where to get good barbecue and meat, right?
I
So
mean, if you're looking, I mean, I lost 100 pounds in 9 months.
that's
Like
amazing.
that,
That is amazing, Scott.
but
That's amazing.
it sounds amazing until you realize how easy it can be. If you, and I'm not saying veganism's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying if you just eat meat and do the whole carnivore shtick,
Yeah.
it just works because you just stay keto and you get full easy. And anyways, that's one practical tip. If you're looking to seriously
It
lose weight
certainly worked for
quickly,
you. Yeah.
and the reason, and you were saying earlier, like, oh, you had the discipline to do it. It's like, no, it wasn't about discipline. It was about simplicity. Once I got myself to just crave meat, everything became easier. I didn't have to shop for all these groceries and cut up veggies, and it was just simple. Like, it's like, honestly, what I'm gonna go eat for lunch today is a hamburger. What did I have yesterday? I had a hamburger. Threw some eggs on it. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's meat.
I've
Meat and
done that.
protein,
I've
man.
done that for 3 years, and some people need
It's
more
worth it.
variety or whatever.
Yeah.
I just lost the need for it. It's like, again, in my past, I've had all the spaghetti and pizza, and I just decided I don't need it anymore, and now I
Let
don't
me ask
even
you
I
this.
don't
Do
even
you do
care.
you have a cheat day, Scott? Come on, be honest. Just shoot
No,
straight.
my
You have a cheat
cheat.
day
No, my cheat is cheese.
is cheese.
Yeah,
Oh wow, okay.
and that's still carnivore. And a lot of people go, keto. I just find it's still more complicated. You're
Yeah.
trying to make keto muffins or something like that. But anyways, to each their own. I do recommend people give it a shot if they're looking for serious, health,
Well,
you know, changes.
you've done an amazing thing, right?
But
And look,
on,
in
on
less than a year, you transformed. It was
on
amazing.
the mental health
Yeah.
side, one thing I found to be a real cool trick, and I learned this from John McCaskill, the Navy SEAL who
Hmm.
hosts the Mind,
Yeah.
the Men Talking Mindfulness
Yep.
podcast.
Hmm.
Um, when I first met him, he recommended a thing called Yoga Nidra, and anytime you're feeling stressed out, you've been had lack of sleep, you high anxiety, or just need a quick reset, Yoga Nidra is no joke. And you can just Google it on YouTube. Yoga Nidra, Nidra. Um,
Well, just in summary,
and
what talk me through it. Is that
it's a 15-minute video.
okay?
Or you can do a 15-minute version, you can do a 30, 40, 50 or 60-minute version, whatever. But even if you only got 15 minutes, it's kind of a talking meditation
Mm.
where and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any yoga. You just lay down or sit in your chair, and you do these breath work and mental exercises where you just
Mm.
scan your
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
internally, and it'll feel like you took a full nap. But it's called non-sleep deep rest
Mm.
is the official term for it. So you're not supposed to fall asleep. Sometimes I do, but I do this almost every day. I
Wow.
just whenever I'm feeling a little bit burnout, I put on one of these short videos and just lay down for a little bit, and you just come up totally rejuvenated. You'll kind of go into this weird
Well,
mental space because it'll literally talk you through like, all right, watch your eyebrow, go to your cheekbone, go to your shoulder, your
yeah.
elbow, and it walks you through your whole body. And I don't know why this works, but I've heard lots of success stories from it. But it's just the easiest way to kind of have a mental exercise, and also the encouragement of nasal breathing that helps reduce the stress and anxiety, and that compounds over time. And I think has been one of the other than sure diet and exercise, but having
Yeah.
a tool to go to help reduce stress,
So
I
it's
found that to be the best.
things like this. There are a lot of models that are out there, but it's important. Because I know, right, from experience, and you do as well too. Stepping into your career progression, that is stressful, right?
Yeah,
It's stress inducing, right? Oh my gosh, this is who I was. I'm now pursuing who I'm gonna be. Is this going to be a good fit? How do I know it's going to be a good fit? Oh my gosh, I need to generate some more income. Oh my god, like these are stressful things. And again, I come back to what I mentioned earlier. If you try it and don't find a good fit and fail and step out, and try again and don't find a good fit, fail and step out, this can really take a toll on your mental health, Scott.
mm,
You've seen it. We've dealt with members like this that come to us and they're just beside themselves. So we have a process that does work. We have a network, we have analytics, we have these kind of things. But your point is valid, right? Take care of your mental health, right? Just like you do your physical health. It is important. It is important.
yeah.
Love the discussion, man. Love it.
And it and it takes sets and reps too.
Yeah.
Just like eating healthier, or getting in the gym, the mental health thing, you got to put in
Yeah.
some sort of practice
I agree.
or effort.
I agree.
I think it's worth it, and it's not as weird anymore. It's very
No,
common in the
it is.
veteran space. There's
Yep.
lots of resources out there.
Look at the professional athlete space.
Yeah,
Look at like there's a lot of people. This is a thing, right? It's not just a, unproven kind of, meditation, or process or whatever. It works. It delivers results.
yeah.
So
It reminds me of my dad. Like if only he had been he was a very stressed out football coach, right? But he would have never considered something like doing meditation. But I think it's if we're thinking of career military hard
Yeah.
charging leaders, it's definitely something to consider. But well, cool, Mike. Yeah,
Good
we can.
discussion, man.
No, I appreciate it. Just wanted to share, some, hard truth on,
Yeah.
what we've experienced in that realm. But yeah, looking forward to hearing how the online cohort goes.
Yeah, wish us luck, right? Steve Weeman and I are going to be stepping into that tomorrow, 16:30 Eastern, right, with our virtual group. So we look forward to that. And yeah, we're going to step into it and bring some quality and deliver some results there. And we look forward to getting that group in this first of, virtual cohort through, taking some good lessons. So, yeah.
Cool. And if you want to watch some of our other episodes where we
Yeah.
talk about things like LinkedIn and networking, how to use social media, Mike has given a number of presentations on here about doing resumes or how to do interviews.
We've done a lot of discussion, Scott, haven't we?
Right.
I've lost count. I know you probably have the count, but oh my goodness, we've done a lot.
We got the link in the description, militaryretirementblueprint.com. You can subscribe there. You'll get notified on any new thing we post. But I probably got dozens or 100, maybe even a couple hundred articles on here on things around survivor benefit plan and military transition that you might find useful. So,
I just changed the link on our Keep Informed page on Blue Water, our digital site, right? And the link is now, that's why I wanted that from you. It's right to this site. So perfect. Members from Blue Water Digital can link right to it. You can scroll down, find some interesting topics you're interested in, and just listen to them. So,
yeah, we also got a link here to my wife Jen, her podcast, Holding Down the
Love
Fort.
Jen's podcast, Holding Down the Fort. Yeah,
yeah, and so she's interviewed a few hundred military spouses and heard their experiences. So it might be a resource you share with your spouse, and get some other perspectives on
I love that
military and post-military life.
So that link is straight from the Blue Water or your military blueprint site.
Yeah, it's right down here.
Okay, love it. Yeah, no, that's great. Yep,
that's called Holding Down the Fort.
Mike's right.
Mike's been interviewed on there. Yeah,
yeah, it is. It's good. Love it. But she does a great job as well.
So we're all about sharing resources. This is all free. No cost to check all this out, and so share.
Great.
Share with
to your transition or career progression. Right. This is great insight.
Share it with a friend.
Absolutely.
And share the show. We're also on YouTube, so you can subscribe there as well. And we've got tons of other videos on there to see different examples of how to make your various survivor benefit plan decisions and so on. But
well, it's good chatting, my friend.
All righty.
Rest of your week.
Well, good luck with the online cohort, and
yeah, we'll let you know.
All right. We'll see everybody probably next week.
Thanks, Scott. Cheers.